So I'm going to pick up where I left off. We started the character. We had done the two stride positions. We had the stride position number 1 with the character's left leg forward, right leg back. We had that. And come over to number 6 here. And the left leg's back, right leg's forward here. So we have this one and this one. And they're very similar. Arms and legs have switched on both of them. And then what we did the next keyframe was the catching the weight with the left leg bending. We had put in our vertical lines to indicate that the feet slides back at even increments. We have our horizontal guidelines to help us keep the feet on the same plane. So we had that, and so we had done this drawing, and then we did this drawing, which is our passing drawing. So the left leg is still going back, the right leg is coming forward. The left arm is on its way forward. The right arm, which we don't see now, is going back. The character at this point is at its highest position. And then we put in a classic tween between. We put that at frame number 4 over here. And we did the number 2 keyframe catching the weight at frame 2. And then we put in a classic tween in between frames 2 and 4. So got us mostly there, but I'm looking at this hand. This hand's off. So if I can kind of grab that hand there, it's not letting me. So what I need to do to adjust that, let's see, I'm going to need to put a keyframe in there. So where's that hand? That's hand way in the back. Yeah, this hand right. And so it's not letting me change that. So what I need to do is just insert keyframe. So we put a keyframe there, so it's no longer a tween, but that's okay. The tween got us pretty close to where we wanted to be. So if I put that there, and then it's going to work going okay. And then I have there, so I'll take a look at some of these other elements in here. So what I could do after I'm happy with the way most of it's working, I could lift this head up a little higher, maybe get a little more tilt this way, a tad bit higher on here. So it goes up. That's good. Now, between this up position and this position, I could try doing another one of those classic tweens. There may be elements like that hand that was off, but if I do this, it will let me get in the ballpark. So a lot of the body parts will work nice. There may be some I have to fix. So what I'm going to do, if I open this up, I can see all my layers. And when you do this, I clicked over here first just to click away. And you want to make sure you click. You don't want to click and drag that keyframe. You don't want to do that. You want to click, and I'm going to try to grab at this frame 5, this in between these two keyframes here. Click and drag all the way down. Not letting go of the mouse until I get down to the lower arm right there, right above the Preston Blair one. So I have all these frames selected, all the layers of frame 5 selected. In the blue area here where they are selected, I'll right click and I'll choose create classic tween. So put a tween in. So now I come back and see what it did. So if I look here, it's not so bad. And the hand there might be a little bit off if I turned off the body parts and see. And this leg here, actually not so bad. So this foot, yeah, so now because I use the classic tweens, I can't change those elements until I convert those now into keyframes. But that's okay. I think I have it looking pretty good because you can see the body going up and down, the head going up and down. There's some minor tweaks that I could do to these different body parts. Like I might want to try to flatten this out a little bit more. But that heel lines up right. It was here at this, then click away, at this line. For frame 5 it should be here, and frame 6 it should be there. So there, it's moving back at a pretty nice even increments, and that's what we want to do. Looking at that heel going back. So that's working well. The arms, let's see, that hand. I bet if I move that, if I turn the pants, to see through it, that hand might be a little bit off, but this looks pretty good, right? This front arm. I could maybe move that hand out this way a little bit. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to come up here. It's all looking pretty good. So but now at frame 5 where I just selected them all and put in the classic tween, which is good, got everything into a good position. Now I'm going to click, drag down, and I'm going to accept all those positions. So that's kind of what I'm doing, but then I'm going and fine tune some of them. But if I select that frame 5, all those layers, right click, and this time I'm going to choose insert keyframe. So now I can go at frame 5 and like this hand I can click away. They're all selected, and yeah, that should be out here a little bit more. And click away here. Those lines get a little distracting. It is hard to see everything, but I think it's going pretty good. So we have this one up. Now, before when I wanted to see what that looks like, so I can maybe turn the hips and this upper leg transparent mode. So I look for them. I got the hips. So if I click on this red swatch here, the hips are transparent. Now I want to find that upper leg, and that'd be above the hips. Leg upper, this one. So what I did by clicking on these, it's still there because it's vector art. It does show me this in transparency. So now I need to grab this hand. Yeah, I was able to grab it. So I'm just going to use my arrow keys. I can see that it is a little bit off there. And put it there. So that's pretty good. So I could turn the visibility back on of those layers. So the hips and that upper leg. There we go. So it was subtle, but that hand was a little bit off. So I go boom, boom. And then I was going to look at maybe bringing this up a little more. A little further up and out, up here. I'm going to take this over here so I can grab this leg. It's coming forward. And then put the foot on there. So that looks pretty good. You got that little up. Leg comes up, goes down. Yeah, I think that's okay. So with this, I'll save it. Then what I want to do, I am going to copy the frame 2. So I like the height of the character, where he is. The knee bend, I'm going to have that. But I need to do this for frame 7. Because frame 2 follows frame 1, this stride. Frame 6 is here. So the one that follows it is going to match this frame 2. So to get there, I am going to copy those frames. So I lift up to get them again, slide down, copy all those frames. So I got them selected, right click, copy frames. And you can't do Control C, you can't do Edit Copy. To copy frames, you have to do it this way with the right click to get this menu. So now I'm going to come over here to frame 7 and slide down, grab all the layers of frame 7, right click. Now it does do a weird thing sometimes, it puts in an extra keyframe, so I'm going to see what happens here. Then I'm going to do Paste Frames. It did. It puts in this extra keyframe here that I'm really not sure how Animate does that. So what I'm going to do is take this extra keyframe that just put in. So the pasted one's there, but it pushed this one over. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to right click and clear keyframes. Clear keyframes. It did it. Some of the classic tween is in there. So let's just see what we have here. So, boom. Now, it kind of looks right, but the arms are switching. So you can see that this arm's forward and I come here, and now that arm is back. So we have to make sure we fix that. So we want to make, so this is the character's left arm, it's forward. And then we kind of want to match it with this one, but it's going to be this arm. So we're dealing. So what I did is just got the height of the head. The body's good. So now, as I did with the stride, I need to reverse out the arms and the legs on this pose. So I'm going to do that. Probably stop recording right now so you don't have to watch me do it. You saw me do it when I did the stride. So I'm going to swap these out and I'll show you. So just real quick, what I did turn on the onion skin. And now I don't want to see all of that. So what do I want to do? Maybe this isn't going to work with that. No, it's not. Because there was just 2 drawings the last time. It was just 2 drawings. So what I'm going to do here, turn this off. I'm going to... All right, maybe I'll leave it on to show you. So grab that. I want to kind of match that there. So that's going to be here. It's going to be coming down. Try to select that back arm. And I use my arrow keys because I don't want to get it behind the body. It's hard to grab it, so I'll use my arrow keys to get that up here. I'll line it up with that arm that's there. So now I need to take this, and hold the shift key and get the arm and bring that here. And then I could rotate that to kind of match the arm that's there. And this hand now is dropping downward. So I have that. And then I have to take this hand, and it's going to be back here. And if I can grab that arm. Ooh, looks like I did, yep. And if I didn't grab it there, I have to go to the layers and grab it. But I'll put that in about there. This hand is going to be dragging. Oh, I stretch it. Didn't want to do that. Just do Command Z, Control Z. Get the rotation tool. There. So I have the 2 arms. And I could cheat this one up as it goes down. Arm goes up a little. Click away just to grab that hand. Okay, now I need to switch the legs out. So I want to take, I'm going to go with the back leg first. That's going to be, I think, the more critical one. Get the leg that's on the ground first. So I'll rotate this so it kind of matches there. And then I'll use my arrow keys to move it forward a little. Bring it down here. Take this foot. Flatten it out a little because it's going to be on the ground now. Arrow keys move it forward. Try to keep it in the same line with that key there. And then I do have these 2 blue lines for my like the ground plane. So I'm lining that up there. This is the front leg. I'll put that back. It's like this one belongs with this one. It's getting confusing. It is. I'm not going to say it's not. And this one, you're going to be bent in here. Let me stretch it a little bit. So it stretches from here. So as I stretch it, this side is growing. That about there. Try to grab this front foot. That's going to be tilted back. And it's kind of lining up with that. And maybe that's a little too far up. Bring this down over there. So I'm going from here to here. And this maybe can come up this way a little bit. And maybe not quite. Oh, I squashed it again. Don't want to do that. So it is a little tricky when I don't have the ones to follow it. But that seems to work pretty good. And, you know, just trying to maybe stretch that one a little bit this way. I want that to be lined up there. So I got that going. Get those hips are kind of sticking out a little bit. Maybe I can cheat those in this way. Again, we can do some fine tuning as we get into it. But I think, boom. Yeah, I think I could maybe move that down just a little bit, the whole group. So if I grab, I'm going to grab that whole leg group. And I'll just bring that down a little bit more. Maybe this one and just bring up a little bit, got a gap there. Boom, boom. That's a boom feeling. Yeah, I think I was bringing that out, but I'm going to start to bring this way. And yeah, this one can bring it here. Yep. So getting a lot of little lines going on there, and I know it's tough to see. But you'll get it. Boom, boom. So then I want to copy this up position. And put that up here, line that foot up. So I want to get this up position. So that's that drawing number 4, the highest point that it makes. And to get that, let's see, there he is up there. Now that's going to be number 4 here. So this is number 7. There's a space 8 and 9. So this one will be number 9. So if I come back to 4, scroll up, select all those keyframes at frame 4. And I select the first one. This is another way of doing it. Select the first one, hold the shift key at the bottom one, and it selects everything in between on frame 4. So I have all these layers selected. Right click, copy frames. Come out here to frame 9. So I'm at frame 9 there. Come down here, hold the shift key. So I have all those frames selected, and I'm going to right click and paste frames. Now it's going to put in that extra frame here. So I'm going to take that extra keyframe and put in and clear keyframe. Clear keyframe. Yep. So now I have this, and I go to visually look at this. This and 4 are the same. 4, and 9. But I have to flip them again. So just as I just did that with drawing number 7, then I'm going to do that here with drawing number 9. So this arm is doing what? It's working its way backwards. And maybe I can take those and bring them down just a little bit. Click on the 2. And I got this weird thing with a shirt there. I'm not gonna. We'd give up some things in this cutout style, and there's ways we could go back in and fix some of the things there, but I'm gonna keep that for now. All right, the hand might get in the way here, so I want to put this foot to line up here, and this leg is going to be there. This is going to be down and pushing upwards. This leg is going to be, oh, I grabbed it. I wanted to rotate it. Now I can move it forward a little bit. Bring that back this way a little. Now that back arm, it's kind of hidden back there. That arm is starting to come forward, so maybe I want to see it starting to come through here. So I can see that hand's getting squished, so I'm going to have to do some fixing there. But because in between, the key, because I copied those frames, the classic tweens came with it. So it is in between now, between the frame 7, 8, and 9. So there will be some fixes in there, but let's see. We've got that foot going back. This one's coming forward, and then fix this a little. A rotation here. Bring that back leg back a little bit more. Could stretch that a little. So that's going pretty good now. I want to see behind here, so find that torso, and there it is. If I turn that off, then I can see this arm. And start to bring that forward. If I can grab that arm, yeah, I can. The hand's going to be a little tricky to grab, so I might have to grab that from the layers. Oh, I grabbed the body by mistake, so Command Control Z. Rotate that a little, coming out. Maybe bring that back. And now the hand, I don't see. I can turn it off there. There's a couple ways. I'm going to kind of scroll down here, trying to find it. Down here, right hand is this one. There it is. So I use my arrow keys to bring it out. I'm tapping it down. And because it's coming forward, it's dragging backwards. So as it's coming, it's dragging this way. So it's kind of, as it comes forward, it drags, and then it's going to change direction as it starts to come back. So now I can turn my torso back on. Visibility of that. Then I can zoom out. See what I have. Do my command and zoom out. Click away for a second. And that might be a little low. Bring that up. Bring that up. So I was looking okay. Now this is where I said that hand need to fix. I can't fix it until now. When I brought those two keyframes over, I copied and pasted them in 7 and 9. So I brought in the classic tweens on frame 8 there. but I have to convert those classic tweens that are in frame 8 into keyframes. So I'm going to select the first one. I'll do it this way now. I'll hold the shift key, select the last one. So now frame 8, all the layers are selected. Right now they're classic tweens, and I can remove it, but I don't want to do that. What I want to do is insert keyframes. So it's kind of accepting the in-betweens that it did. Once you do that, you have to manipulate each frame, but like this hand, I could see that it was in a little tight, so I'm bring that this way. This hand is going what direction? It's coming backwards, so it could drag. It's like it's coming down from this way, so a little bit of follow through drag. So the same as here. Now I never did that on this frame here. This is frame 3. It has a classic tween. I can select that. Come down to the end here. Hold the shift key, select that, and I'm going to insert those to keyframes. And now I can manipulate each of these frames just a little bit if I want to. Yeah, it's okay. I'm going to do a little more drag back on that. So what do we have here? We have, it's not so bad, right? Boom, 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 coming forward. I'm looking at this left arm right now, and that seems to be working well. You start to look at the different body parts. Boom, and then it's going back, coming back this direction. And then I'm going to look at the back arm, the right arm. And now it's going to come forward. So maybe that could be down a little bit. Maybe turn it down here. Click away, grab the wrist. And the legs, let's look at the front leg, that left leg. Boom, bounces, it's up. Okay, so that gets a little strange in here. So it looks like they're kind of changing, but I think they're working right. So if I follow the front leg, yeah, that's a little bit of a, we get the whole flow going. All right, so now I have this up position, and this has to match into this pose. So I have number 9. Number 10 is going to be an between number 9 here and number 1 here. So 10 is going to hook, call that hooking back into number 1. So I want to create that in between here. So to do that, I'm going to copy frame 1 and temporarily place it out here at frame 11. Then I'll create the in between 9 and 11, which is really 9 and 1 is the number 10. Modify it, do what I need to do. Then I'm going to delete that frame 11 after I get the in between to work. To do that, come out here again, make sure I can see everything. So frame 1 this time, I'm going to select it, come down here. So I have all those selected for frame 1, right click, copy frames. Come out here at frame 11, at the head, come down here to the arm right lower, and paste frames. And because between 1 and 2 we didn't have a classic tween, so it didn't add those extra frames there. So it's when you have that in between thing, it adds extra frames. All right, so we have frame 9, 10, and 11. 11 is the same as 1, but we needed to put them here on the timeline to get the in-betweening to work, because it wouldn't understand to go back to number 1. And because when we pasted number 9 there, it did carry over those classic tweens. So in here are the classic tweens. Let's see, I'll zoom up on that, see if we can see that a little bit. Let's go tall. That didn't do much. Medium. There is somewhere around here, and I gotta figure out where they put it. A way to make that bigger and smaller. It's just moving that way. Okay, well, it is. Trust me, right in here, that little triangle icon is the classic tween that came over. So let's see how we got between these two. So boom. And I'm looking to see, maybe this arm here gets a little funny. So now I need to convert them. Let's see what the legs are doing. What are the legs doing? Yeah, that's where it gets a little weird. So right foot there in front. And looking at that heel, that's good there. I could, so now to manipulate these, right now they're as classic tweens. I need to convert those to keyframes to be able to change them. So I'll select the head layer of frame 10. Come down to this arm right lower layer. If all the body parts are selected, right click, and I'm going to convert those to keyframes. So by having them as classic tweens at first, though, it did get them like the head and the body. All those weren't doing anything too crazy. The legs and the feet, I can do a little fine tuning on. So I'll select it. I can bring this foot down a little bit. And it's good. This one maybe I can lift up a little bit, like it's taking a step up. Oh, where do I go back there? Click away, grab this. And grab that, tilt it a little there. See where this hand is on there? That looks pretty good. This looks a little bit off. Yeah, see the arm here. Could even drag that hand just a little bit more. Let's see, is that too big? All right, so that's looking pretty good. Now I'm going to test it. Now I do have this extra frame at frame 11 that I copied and pasted one. So I want to remove those frames so it doesn't pause. I mean, it does pause a little bit in the playback, but I want to minimize that pausing there. So let's go a little bit bigger so I can see all these layers. Select it. Shift key, selected all those layers of frame 11. Selected, right click where they're selected. And this time I'm going to do remove frames. So now we're at the 10 frame cycle. And this Preston Blair walk, it's turned off, but I'm going to make it a guide layer, so if I do publish it to take a look and see how it works, we can do that. And that might be the quickest way without all this extra stuff going on. So I'm going to hit Command Return, Control Enter. Not so bad. A little bumpy on the head. I kind of lifted that head up and down a little bit. It is that quick bump, 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 bump walk. The arms are looking a little long, maybe. You got a little monkey arms. Woof, woof, woof. Maybe the back arm. But you see when I was trying to get that drag in the arms, the hands, the way they flip, flap, flip, going back and forth. Kind of getting that looser movement to them. The face, we'll look at that. Maybe I'll stop the video and create another video how I fix the face so it's not going there. And maybe I'll do some fine tuning to some things. But it is a cutout style. It is limited animation, but we've gotten some life into this little guy. We got that nice up and down movement. The feet look like they're moving pretty good. They do that little shuffle. We stare at them. It is a little tricky. I did try coloring the back pant leg a little bit. Maybe I'll do that back foot a little darker, add a little shade to that. But he has his snakeskin shirt, tiger stripe pants. Whoever knew that the Tiger King would be so popular right now. But that kind of detail you couldn't do if you were hand drawing this and hand painting it. So it does add a little bit of a flavor to it. Okay, so I'll do some fixes, come back, and we'll look at this in another video.